Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today, I have a 3v3 ladder match here on the most amazing Noxus map generator. So let's go ahead and introduce our teams and our players, starting off with Team 1 in the Northwest, and with Team 2 in the Southeast. Starting off with Team 1's frontline player, we have in Amethyst Purple, the highest rated player on Team 1, it is Rayla as an Aeon. And again, they are in Amethyst Purple 2 as West. We have in Royal Blue skill issue. Maybe he'll have a skill issue this game. Maybe he'll cause skill issues one way or the other. There might be a skill issue this game. He is a Seraphim, and he's a 2035 rating. And in the north here for Team 1, we have a Cybran of L to the Aeon. He is not Aeon. He is in Stitch Blue as a 1430. So for Team 1 side of the map, they have a Cybran, a Seraphim, and an Aeon. Team 1 lacks UEF technology. Starting off with Team 2's Eastern player, then we're going to go clockwise. We have in Chevy Crimson, the 1897 rated player of Sarcasm NYX, for Sarcasm for short. He is a UEF. To his south, we have in Ruby Red Baller, or Baller, excuse me. There is an L, not an I. He is a UEF as well for this match as a 1618 rating. And on their team, last remaining to introduce, we have the orange color, orange pretty much blending within his environment. It is Nori as a 2077 rated. He is a Cybran, and he is the highest rated player, not only on Team 2, but in the game overall. And overall for Team 2, we have 2 UEF and 1 Cybran. Team 2 lacks Aeon and Seraphim, but they do have the only 2 UEF players in the game. Team 1 has the only Aeon and Seraphim players in this game, but they do lack the UEF faction. And for 6 players on the map, let's take a look at their reclaim. They have to scoop up, currently sitting at 18,000 mass in reclaim, which means it is 3,000 mass per player, a hefty chunk for everybody to grab. And speaking of 3,000, there's actually just pretty much a 3,000 clump on each side of the map, as well as another 2,100 right there where Sarcasm is headed to, and Skill Issue is headed over there as well. So our players going for that reclaim immediately. And not only do they have a decent amount of mexes, not mexes, but reclaim to grab, they also have a decent amount of mexes to grab with a 5-star mex position in front of Baller. He had a 5-star mex next to him, so I guess that's perfectly fine with that. Trimex position here, Trimex position here, Trimex position here, Trimex position here, and maybe that's a Trimex position there. And I think that, was that a Trimex? No, that's just a single dot mex. But that is it, everyone. Decent amount of mexes to grab in each team's ballpark, and there's also a couple of mexes down the middle. Not really, that mission critical to go for. Those are really the only 2. And then there's a little bit of distance between these over here. But that's pretty much it down this center line. So our players are starting to fan out around the map. We have a 1v1 situation brewing in the southwest, a 1v1 situation in the northeast. And that just leaves possibly a 1v1, maybe, maybe not. Neither of these players has really made any move. It does look like now Rayla moving eastward. So it is looking like a 2v1 in favor of Team 1 in this northeast position. And Nori sitting here just ecoing up, getting a lot of P-gens online, and not really sending his comm forward very interestingly. Everybody else at least has moved their comm in some degree out of their base. Transport inbound here from Team 2's Baller going for that reclaim, and unfortunately there is the comm of Skill Issue nearby. Those engineers try to build a Team 1 PD, but unfortunately for them, I don't think they're making it out alive, I should say. There goes the 4th, and there will go the 5th engineer. Wow, it took a little bit longer than I thought for that engineer to die, but all 5 engineers are killed, unfortunately for them and their families. In the northeast, comm action has started between L to the N and Sarcasm, but they, of course, are way more focused on going for the reclaim, not putting shots down range against one another. And especially due to the fact, of course, that Sarcasm has 2,000 more hit points than his opponent of L to the Aeon. If he was Aeon, he'd have 1,000 less hit points than the 2,000 that he is currently having with the Cybran faction. There are some reinforcements arriving for these 2 players, but not really anything of consequence. A couple of shots deals with them very easily for either player, so no real snipe possibilities happening. In the kind of off to the side of the middle here, we have a couple of raiding units inbound from Skill Issue trying to, again, distract Team 2's Nori. Nori has actually started to push through the middle. So while Rayla comes in to kind of cut Team 2's Sarcasm off any sort of reinforcements or supply lines, we have Nori undeterred in the middle. He's not pushing as much as he probably could, but of course he is worried about an attack from the west and the east brewing. So he has to be very careful with how far he pushes forward. And of course he doesn't know everything like I know everything, like we know everything. Of course this is what he can see. So he's not going to be super, obviously, aware of everything, but it does look like you know spotted these units grouping up here for Rayla. We do see that Skill Issue has grabbed most of that reclaim. In terms of the reclaim count here for Team 1 and Team 2, Team 1 has 10,000, or had 10,000, or got 10,000, or whatever the verb you want to use for that, versus Team 2's 4.5k. So that's more than half of the mass reclaimed for Team 1 versus Team 2. Team 1 a little bit ahead in the mass game as well, and starting to pull ahead slightly. That could also be reclaim related and other things as well. And again, ours we are seeing in the east here, Team 2 Sarcasm is starting to get isolated here. Rayla sees the opportunity and will go for the 1-2 punch. L to the Aeon did not fall into the yellow. Sarcasm did. 8,500 hit points on board that commander, and a nice, almost pristine 1,100, a little bit short than that. Rayla gets some veterancy, and again, Sarcasm will notice this and will just say, I just got to get home. I left the stove on, my dog's waiting, my cat's waiting, you know, I got to feed him or whatever, and Rayla is kind of impeding that. Not necessarily with a, you know, standing in front watching you, like, trying to get around, but it's more like I'm going to walk with you and shoot you at the same time. Couple of pillars online, though, here for Sarcasm, so it's going to help thin this crowd of Aurora for Rayla. You can see they're not necessarily one-shotting, but pretty much three-shotting all of those Aurora. Very nice to cleanse that environment. Ghetto Gunship is online for Baller, coming in with those Mech Marines and a transport. We do see some interceptors overhead trying to deal with that, but look at this. The hit points now falling off of Rayla. Just like a nicely cooked, not a wing, sorry, a rib, just the meat just falls right off the bone. And there goes Rayla. I think he actually control K'd, possibly. Yes, he did. Does not give the credit for Team 2 Sarcasm for the kill, or even actually Baller for that matter. It was a nice combination kill there. He saw the opportunity and he took it. And that does alleviate a little bit of the pressure here for Nori in the middle. He's kind of getting bogged down a little bit by all of these units, but now with them not being given orders, he's got a little bit more of some firepower, nice little bit of course, some stealth and gun going on. So he's able to just kind of thin the crowd out a lot easier with a nice little break in communications. In the southwest, the commander of Skill Issue has fallen back. He doesn't want to be sniped or any sort of kind of ganks happening against them, so definitely a better position here, specifically because he just probably went in for the reclaim, got the reclaim, and just said, see ya, bye, and dipped out of there. We do see some attacks inbound from the east from El Dedeon, but mainly just trying to push and keep Sarcasm back as long as possible. With the comp of Rayla down, it A, does give another base to Team 1, looks like it went to Skill Issue, and B, does have the downside of having less APM available for Team 1, of course the third uncalculable resource, but of course it is all there nonetheless. But look at this, Team 1 250, Team 2 at almost 200, so 50 mass ahead of Team 1 doesn't really seem like a lot now, but if that lead or that trend line does continue, it's going to turn into 100, it's going to turn into 250, it's going to turn into 500, and then it's going to be not necessarily game over, but it's going to hurt. So Team 2 needs to catch up in that regard, which I feel like they will over time, but right now Team 1 is leading quite heavily in that regard. Nori, of course, getting a lot of use out of that gun and stealth commander. Almost at 2-star veterancy. There's only really Team 1 units here, and specifically the Aurora. They are tinfoil. They don't have a lot of HP. They, of course, are nice to just have, and they hover and all that stuff, but in terms of a nice little tank-on-tank action, don't really have as much beefiness as, let's say, the Striker or the Tham. We do see a couple of Rhinos inbound as well for Nori. So Team 2 is a middle player getting that T2 tech online. That will start ripping through all of these Aurora very quickly, even with that comm being there. Nano is done for skill issue. He has gun, Nano, and T2, so a decent chunk of hit points more, decent chunk of regen, and of course a nice little increase in range and speed. And the other player on Team 1 remaining, L to the Aeon. No upgrades on board that commander, no veterancy, no nothing, so just a pristine, right off the presses, right off the assembly line there. Commander, Team 2's Nori still just shoving everything forward. He's like, I'm just going to push Team 1 back as far as possible, and he's just like, that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to stop. A couple of Obsidians online here for skill issue. Love to see those units. They are the tankier tank, in my opinion. Of course, it almost feels redundant, but, you know, tankier tank is kind of a nice word for it. Nori does have to be careful to be surrounded here. But, of course, he is pumping shot after shot after shot after shot. He went after the Obsidians first to deal with the more HP units while he still had his own T2 tanks. And then after that, he's able to, you know, tick off a little bit more of those Aurora Thams and the combo skill issue inbound. And a nice Obsidian that's just going to get blitzed down here by the overcharge and just the, you know, rapid fire nature of that commander. We do see a couple of PD starting to come online. Not as good as dealing with the Thams as they are the Aurora, but again, nonetheless, very, very nice. Gets another T2 PD online. Of course, the engineers mainly take the hit for that. There's a lot of units here, but unfortunately, there's a lot of T1s. The Calm of Nori just getting chest, candy, just a bunch of medals constantly here. We have a couple of gunships inbound, but the flag nearby deal with that. There is a T3 gunship online, so Elder the Aeon has T3 air online. Team 2's air player of Baller almost at T3, is at T3, apologies. So both players have T3 air, but of course Team 1 has a little bit head start in that regard. We have a couple of units, looks like they either walked over or were dropped off. Looks like they were dropped off. Going after a couple of mixes. Unfortunately, there's PD and gunships nearby, so those units are taken out quite quickly. In the middle still, calm on calm action rages. We have, of course, the stealth and gun calm of Nori, 42 hit points a second. 4-star veterancy versus skill issue, 2-star veterancy, 92 hit points a second, almost 3-star, I might add. And he has nano gun and T2. So again, not necessarily evenly matched. One has 18.6k hit points, one has 16.8k hit points. The benefit for Team 2's Nori is once he gets out of visual contact range, Team 1 can't see him because of that stealth upgrade unless there's an Omni nearby. So the point of contention, of course, is going to be keeping that comm on visual sensors as much as possible. Lots of Ilshi fire inbound, Thams coming in, as well as some Obsidians and just more and more T2 units. Nori falls into the low yellows. Low being, of course, 5,700 hit points at 4-star veterancy. It is a little bit dangerous there for him. There are some gunships starting to kind of coagulate, kind of just hang out over here over top of where he was. Looks like they might just continue southward. They may or may not see the comm. He does get shot at a little bit, but that's not the focus. They're going after mexes for Nori, so taking out his eco and chipping away at that pocketbook. There goes that gunship squad inbound, going for more of those P-gens now. Sniping not only the mass income, but also the power income. And Nori talking about how customs games have better team balance. I don't know. I mean, it is the Neuroxis map generator. Not Neuroxis map generator, but the matchmaker, excuse me. Very kind of similar, but not necessarily similar. And I mean, the percentage is 99%. You're not going to guarantee a perfect match, but you know, it just happens from time to time. I mean, especially when you have a spread of 20, 2062 to 1430. I mean, there's going to be a little bit of not necessarily a power imbalance, but I mean, it kind of tends like leans, not necessarily one way or the other, but it doesn't help. That's for sure. Team 1's skill issue is just pushing forward as well, countering against Nori. Nori having to fall back quite considerably. Lots of Ilshis, lots of Obsidians. Love to see these T2.5 units in action together here. One taking the shots, one just throwing shots everywhere. Skill issue now at 4-star veterancy, 104 hit points a second at 21.7k hit points. More and more flak coming online here for Team 2, just dealing with these gunships, and these gunships really can't just handle the heat. It does take out that nice spearhead, but again, it does die, so that's another T3 gunship ripped off the tables. And now more units split off from this western side. They could have grouped up here in the middle, but they decided to go south, go after some mexes over here. Team 2 is suffering again in the eco department, just getting sniped after sniped after sniped in that regard. But to be fair, Team 2 still has all 3 of their players. Team 1 is down a player, so it is still a 2v3 in favor of Team 2. Gun coming online here for Star Chasm. Maybe we'll see Billy Nuke. Maybe we'll see Nano or Shields. I would presume Shields at a minimum, just to protect his commander, because that's just a huge chunk of hit points to just get immediately from Shields. But we'll see what he decides to do. And I do like this tactic of just carving forward, getting as far as he can, and going, nah, that's all I'm going to get, and then retreats. And as he retreats, taking out more of Team 2's eco. Love to see that. Gunship gets taken up by those ASFs from Team 1. And then we have a small ASF fight. Looks like Baller might not feel good after this. He looks like he had pretty much the similar amount of ASFs, but Team 1 pulled it out, unfortunately. So now it is a, I'm going to say, air control for Team 1. I mean, those are, we're talking about less than a dozen ASFs for Team 1. So there isn't really a huge, like, he has 5, I was going to say 500, but 50, 100, 150 more ASFs. It's mainly just some. He has some more ASFs, 4 and a gunship, again, versus kind of 9 or 10 at this point. So not really, again, a huge advantage one way or the other, but any advantage is better than no advantage. Wall sections being built over here to try to curtail any sort of incoming units from this angle. Obviously, due to the fact that Rayla is down, this side of the map is probably going to be a little bit weaker for the micro versus where Skill Issue has been kind of focusing his attention, especially with all of these T3 units inbound, all of these Authams. Where are the Percys? I see the broadswords. Where are the Percys? They should be being produced immediately. There they are. They're over here. Need to get thrown together, because at some point it is not going to be looking good here for Team 2 if they don't get some T3 mainline units online sooner than later. We do see, of course, T3 land facility online pumping out bricks. So again, nice to see that combo of bricks and Percys. But that Autumn incursion is continuing to just not stop moving. You see them leaving trails there in the sand. And they're on a collision course with that T1 land facility, and that's going to be wiped off the face of this planet. No signs of mass, no signs of, whatever the ground configuration, whatever that's called, like the paint that's left whenever they make a structure. It's like foundation, I guess would be the word for it. And these Authams ripping apart those rhinos. They did not stand a chance. They are DOA. And at 21 almost minutes on the clock here, Team 1, again, only has lost 1 player. There's only been 1 dead player so far in this 3v3. It is Rayla, making it a 2v3. Team 1 and Team 2, their ecos starting to kind of homogenize a little bit. It's mainly about 20 or so mass, 20, 25, depending on the power, depending on the reclaim between these two teams. So not really a huge advantage. It was about 50 or so when I talked about it last time. It's now 25. So Team 2 has caught up, and obviously will have to be noted that this Trimex position is gone, these mexes are gone, this mex is gone, actually these mexes are gone, and the mex is gone over here as well. So there are mass extractors going down, and as you can see, that number is going down quite considerably. Now it's 100 mass a second in favor of Team 1, so that number skyrocketed quite quickly. It looks like the Autumn kind of just divvied up this way, going for another T2 mex. That one is gone. Baller comes in with his commander, gets some veterancy, and says, no, stop it. And now has to face an incursion of more Authams. Again, a little bit of reclaim he'll get from these units, but he's lost a lot of mass from those extractors, from all the units that have died. And the pigeons, oh, those aren't going to feel good here shortly. There goes that one. Radar system's down. That's got to hurt. Another pigeon's going to go down here. There it goes. And maybe they'll save this one. Yes, they do, just barely. That would have been very bad, because that would have blown up, that would have blown up, that would have blown up. So the entire air grid wouldn't have cascaded, but definitely would not have felt good. That is for sure. And look at this. Look how far Team 1 is pressuring into Team 2's territory. They essentially have almost the entire vertical west of the map. They don't really have the whole northern half of the map cutting out horizontally, but I mean, it's pretty close. But Team 1 has a huge percentage of the map control versus Team 2 here at 23 minutes. Let me know down in the comments who you think is going to win this game. And, of course, if you haven't done so already, because, I mean, why not? Why not do it? Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Thank you so very much for watching. Share this video and every other video that you want to share with anyone, everyone, and especially your pets. And as always, thank you so very much. I always say it multiple times at the same time and multiple times throughout the video, but I really do appreciate it that you watch, that you comment, that you subscribe, you do all the nice YouTube things that YouTube likes to see. I really do appreciate it, and hopefully that does get conveyed through my incessant need, well, not incessant need, but just my desire to constantly thank everybody. Anyway, talking about what's going on here in the north, we have a nice outbreak attack here in the northeast. Team 1's being pushed back, but Skill Issue has a chicken. T4 Experimental is online, and I would surmise that he would have been the first just because he has dual base and all that, almost 400 eco. Sarcasm sitting at 200. Is he producing anything of note? No. Is there a monkey being built? No. So Team 1 has the only experimental, when we see a laser has been started and going up, I might add, decently quick. He's about to run out of most of his power, and there it goes. Looks like he's trying to, again, balance that quite nicely. He's already at 67% and climbing. He's already up to almost 80. He really needs to get that cloaking online, or it's not really going to be beneficial, but at least he'll have the laser at a minimum. So if these units do get closer, he'll be able to use it. There goes the cloaking immediately after I say something. Look at that. And that's going to be a little bit longer. Of course, it's more power intensive to get that thing online, so not as quick. Units are transferred over in the heat of battle here to Nori. Nori's like, hey, or sorry, I should say Starkism's like, hey, these units over here, you should move them. And he's like, okay. Give 3 pigeons to Nori, please, says, I love how he says, give 3 pigeons to Nori, please, as Nori is the one saying that. He's like, I need power, I need power. And he has the cloaking. It's online. Nice little weird little hologram thingamajig looking at. It's kind of hard to tell. You can actually kind of see through him. There are some actually Othams down here charging right through the middle of Team 2's lineup, going for these mexes down here. And Nori's like, oh, I got to go for those, but I got to go for those guys, but I got to go for those. He's being sandwiched here by Seraphim forces. There's probably some Aeon in there, to be fair, but at least some Seraphim. Yep, there's Aeon in there. There goes the Mad Lad with that laser and that cloaking. I don't think Team 1 can see him due to the fact that that chicken is not targeting him directly. Shots worth thrown, but not many. And here comes the cleansing of Nori's base from behind. And all these forces over here. Oh, man, it's going to be a bad day for him. Pigeon, more pigeons going offline. Looks like some reinforcements have arrived from the east, and those rest of those forces have come to assist. But Team 2 is on the back heel. They're on their heels. They're on back foot. That's the word for it. They're on the back foot here. I mean, look at the ecos. Team 1 at a little over 800. Team 2 not even at 600, so 250 plus mass. More for Team 1. I feel like there's more chickens in Team 1's future. I would presume. I would not assume. That's why I used the word presume, but it still has the same effect. There is the chicken, and the chicken cannot see the actually, no, the chicken can see the comm. Excuse me. They do have an Omni or some. Oh, they have some spy planes. That's what's going on. Nori has been able to be targeted, and they can see him. He's trying to dodge best he can, but that chicken will kill him. Overcharge takes out a chunk of hit points. He's already on 5-star veterancy. He will not survive. There's another chunk of hit points off that chicken. He's in the red. 32,000 hit points out is total, and then he only has 3,000 left, 2,000 left. The chicken is dead. The chicken is dead. That guy is not dead. Less than 3,000 hit points out of 38,000. Whew, that was very rough for him. He's going to be in base. He's like, oh my goodness, that was very close. And now the gunships come in. Well, I wish I had those like a couple minutes ago. That would have been nice, but at least he's not dead. At least that's what he's thinking. He's like, I can make it out. I'm going to just go in a corner and hide. 188 hit points is a decent amount to be regenning per second. You can see he's already almost back up to 8,000. And yeah, I'm at +1, but sorry, not at 1,000. He's already up to 7,000. So at this point, I feel like it's heating up a little bit. It's time for me to slow this replay down to the regular speed. Here's the Omni here for Team 1's Elder the Aeon. This is the range, so they can see essentially anything past this point, no matter what. If this if this radar becomes an Omni, then I don't think it's that exact range. I think it's right about here, roughly, that they could see with the Omni, which would be a better placed Omni, of course, but at least Team 1 has one. Better have one than have none, kind of thing. We do see some missiles being launched in the Easter by Team 2. There it is, a couple of those spearheads. I thought I saw more of like an actual stationary missile launcher, but I don't see it anywhere. There's a couple mexes offline, rebuilt mexes as well, but the edges of the map are starting to fade here, as does happen as the game progresses here. Nori continuing to pressure, and he should be in range of that Omni. Oh, they can see the radar. Oh, yep, there he is. Yep, they can see him. There he is. I saw his hit points for a brief moment. Nori is again back up in the yellow. 16,000 hit points and climbing 50,000. Man, he's going to get sniped. That's a dead comm. That's a dead comm here at 30 minutes on the clock. There he goes. Very, very unfortunate. Pushed very far forward. Didn't either count that Team 2 has an Omni. They could see it, so that's kind of a miscalculation there. It is now a 2v2 game here, tied up 30 roughly minutes on the clock. Air fight does happen. Looks like L to the Aeon. Oh, that was a bad turn there from Baller. Ooh, bad. Ooh, that's gonna hurt. If he turned left versus right, I think he would have been a little bit better off. But definitely looks like Team 1's in the lead for air control. Not necessarily dominance at this point, but a decent chunk of hit point, not decent chunk of hit points, decent chunk of ASF to be up. Another chicken almost done here for skill issue. And that is not going to be looking good here for Team 2. Team 2 is producing a crab now with the eco from Nori. That's Sarcasm building that. Is he building a fat? Did he build a fat boy? I don't think so. It does have a lot of shields protecting his units. Does have a nice little stealth field generator over there. And he's sending. Oh, so there is a missile launcher somewhere, because that's definitely a missile. It's inbound. It's going for that T3 mechs. It's going to take out the. Yep, there it goes. Takes out the mass storages. Did you make Omni when you saw my upgrade? Says Nori. I would presume yes. Would be the answer to that question. We do see some options pushing in for some more T3 mexes. Even if just the Pigeons and the mexes is going to be offline, definitely worth the kind of slow eroding of Team 2's reserves. Notham's continuing to pressure this not little, but decent chunk of tickle cannon position. And they are just ripping apart all of these units. I mean, there are some Perseus and other units inbound to assist, but they've taken out essentially all of the parashields. Now they're targeting all the Harbingers. There are some now gunships inbound, but a lot of them have suffered a decent chunk of hit point losses. Another Pigeon goes offline. Sarcasm builds an experimental. It probably is that crab. No, it's a monkey, excuse me. He transitioned to a monkey, and then he's going back to crab. The base isn't feeling good, but at least it's kind of still there. The T3 land headquarters is definitely the most important thing in that regard. But look at the amount of progress that Sarcasm has made on this eastern side, just slowly carving it away. This game shifting from a kind of northwest to southeast to a east versus west kind of situation. Gunship running around here for Baller. L to the Aeon, again, still stocking up his ASFs. Does have a strap bomber, is producing a monkey, and does have some TMD. I still think there's definitely a TML. I just don't see it. It's probably in front of my face. Somebody's already made a comment about, hey, it's right there. You just missed it. You scrolled right over it, essentially. See, that's a buzzkill. That's a scatter shield. That's another scatter shield. That's a lot of scatter shields, I might add. T3 AA and T3 PD creep going on over here. Still don't see that missile. Maybe he reclaimed it after he fired it. I don't know, but for some dumb reason, I just cannot find it, and I don't know why. It's not a big map by any means. I mean, it's a 20 by 20 layout, but it's kind of like a 13 by 13. I can't see the bottom edge or the northern edge, so definitely makes me think it's like a 13 by 13. Still can't find it, though. And at this point, it's not that important. We do see Autumn's being very heavily assisted by this crab and this chicken force. Sorry, not chicken force, but the The chicken force and the monkeys. Not monkeys. Wow, I cannot talk today. These bricks. These bricks. There are strat bombers. There are strat bombers inbound. What are the? That is a lot of strat. Forget you in particular, T3AA position. You received way more hate than you deserved in that regard. That's a lot of strats. 17 strats. That's definitely a snipe at a minimum, if not possibly 2 if you can get the angles right. Sarcasm's over here and Baller's over here. No shield next to him. Very bad. Bad. At least Sarcasm has some shielding nearby. Another monkey being built and is done, I should say. Chicken pushing forward. The mainly indirect fire weaponry here from Team 2 has to be pulled back. Couple of Percys, though. That's not going to do too much against the chicken. I love the Percy, I will admit, but it will not be able to do that much firepower that quickly unless there's a lot more brethren nearby. There goes that Percy. Couple Titans. They're going down. Another airfight occurs. Great engagement here from L to the Aeon. And it looks like he will win the airfight. He will take significant losses. Is fighting under a decent amount of AA in terms of T3 and T2. You know, flak in the, SAM launchers, that sort of thing. Huge chunk, but still in the lead for counts. But it definitely favored Team 2 in how many they had versus how many they lost versus the amount that Team 1 had, the amount that they lost. Kind of thing. The percentages were better. That's probably a better way to put it. But here comes this chicken threat. Still bricks behind it, and Otham's leading the charge. Monkey trying to intercept. I think the monkey will not survive that engagement. There's a crab over here. There's a monkey over here. There's a monkey over here. They're going to face off this monkey v monkey fight. Laser opens up. The brick force opens up. The Percy firepower opens up. The crab fire opens up. That is a dead monkey. Goodbye, monkey. Where do those strats go? Did they try to do a snipe and I completely missed it? Would not surprise me if I completely missed the strat snipe. I don't think so. They're probably just hiding somewhere, or they're just in the ball of whatever nonsense. I could probably just hit the Control A button. Oh yeah, most of them died to something. I don't know what, but they died to something. Oh, that's possibly what that air fight was about. I probably missed the beginning of it. Apologies for that. Monkey is dead. Chicken still alive, half health, but still charging forward, going after Starchasm's original base. There is a Fat Boy online trying to deal with that chicken, just pepper it, try to season it to get rid of all of its nastiness and make it nice and tasty for his constituents. There are a decent amount of PD opening up here. Thousands of hit points being just ripped apart from that chicken. The chicken might get out of range because this Fat Boy's still retreating. But if the Fat Boy isn't careful, that chicken could catch up to it. T3, Pigeon will go offline, take out almost the entire shielding capacity. There goes the chicken. Struckhausen's base is not feeling good. Team 2 has been on the back foot for a while now. They are getting some ground in the middle now, but there are two chickens and a Colossus, excuse me. There are 3 chickens to be fair, but it's over here. And I feel like Team 2 is not long for this world, so if you're rooting for Team 2, apologies, but it's not looking good. Unless Team 2 pulls out a trump card like a nuke or something, I highly doubt Team 2 will come back in this game. Now, I've said that before about a different team, a couple videos back, or a week ago, whatever it was, and completely just threw me through a loop at the very, very end of the match, but I don't think this is one of those matches. Crab is trying to retreat. It's not going to get anywhere. Monkey's down. T3 units being eroded. Build offensive units instead. Reclaiming that satellite. Satellite would have been good probably about 10 minutes ago to go after that air grid, but there's more strat bombers that have been built in the interim. Sitting on 24, so more than he had last time. ASFs looks like they're going to shield them and go for a sniper too. They can honestly split those strat bombers up and probably go after both commanders at the same time. One has gun and 1 veteran C, one has gun and 2 veteran C, so definitely 12 each would be enough. That's 36,000 damage directly, because each one does about 3,000, so rough. I don't know if it's 3,000 exactly or if it's just like almost 3,000 or roughly 3,000, but rounding is very nice. It makes math in my head a lot easier. We do see a chicken is about to go down. Crab turns around. That's unfortunate because that chicken will die, but could have died a little bit sooner. ASF coming in. Doesn't really do anything because the ASF already retreated. Strat Bomber's moving to the west. And they're lining up for a shot. Are they going for Sarcasm? Are they going for Baller? Are they going for both? I don't know, but it's not looking good here for Team 2's commanders. You can see that attack vector going for the air grid. And there goes the strats. They're going for one singular target. There goes that Pigeon in particular. It's actually not dead, surprisingly. With all those strat bombs, did not kill it. And the ASF fight, of course, will occur over top of these commanders. Team 1 cleanses the air of Team 2's ASFs. Colossus is inbound. The second chicken has been deleted. The Ion Storm will activate. Sarcasm sees the threat and just kind of accepts it. Nori gets, he shouts out Sarcasm. He says, nah, it was not meant to be. Words of encouragement here. And Sarcasm's like, I will avenge my fallen brethren. Oh no, there he goes. Team 2 loses another player. And that is going to be a kill here for skill issue. It's a 2v1 in favor of Team 1. For the first time in the game, they're ahead in the commander totals. And they're going to win this match here one after the other. Kaboom. 40 minutes on the clock. A little bit more than that. What's the exact time? 40-10. 40-11, excuse me. That is the match. Team 1 wins the game. This one was a little bit shorter, but sometimes it's nice to have a kind of a shorter video once in a while. MVP for this match definitely goes to skill issue. He drove a lot of the success here for Team 1. Don't really know why those strat bombers only killed off one facility. I feel like with all those strats, it could have been more, but maybe they all landed at the same time, so the damage was registered at the same time. So it wasn't really like boom, 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 boom. It was just boom kind of thing. But definitely skill issue gets the vote for me for MVP. Of course, it does help that he got a second base. But he got the second base, really used it as much as possible very quickly to get, of course, experimentals. Getting the kill on Nori was very, very nice for Team 1. That Omni / Strat Bomber, Spy Plane play came very nice to deal with that. Nori, to be fair, did not really stop moving. I mean, he moved forward, had to fall back. He moved forward again, fell back again, moved forward again, then he died. I think that at that time he probably just should have stayed, or at least stayed till he got most of his hit points back. He was like half hit points total. Probably not the best idea to push. But, I mean, he wanted to go, I think, balls to the wall, and he definitely did that. So, props to him. Let me know down in the comments what you felt about the match. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Share this video with anyone, everyone, and most importantly, your pets. And I will see all of you in the next one.